This is the fourth time that I am filming this video, and I hope I can finally make it because I have been having so many issues, and this video was going to be live like 2 weeks ago or something like that, and my files kept getting corrupted or my camera kept going out of battery. So hopefully this is the last time that I will be filming this. So hi, hello, how are you? And welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you are doing great. I'm Beatriz, I'm your host in this channel. Well, obviously I'm your host, I'm the only one that's here. So today, thanks to Nell Diamond, I am going to be filming the Bootcamp Book Tag. She tagged me in it, so I think that will be quite fun, and there is a part that I will try to explain something and I will try to do my best, but I'm not very good at explaining stuff, so let's see how it works. I think that's it. So let's get into the prompts and the questions for the tag. The first prompt that I have, it's called Dumbbell, and it is the most ridiculous book you have ever read. So I want to show you a book that I have read like a few years back. I'm not sure when, but this book, it's called Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer, and honestly I think this is one of the very few 2 stars that I have given, because I did not like this book. This book was one of the worst things I have ever read. The story did not make any sense to me. It was very all over the place and it was very confusing, and it's supposedly to be a sci-fi. It had that aspect, but in the end it was so confusing, and what they were seeing and doing and what they were searching was very confusing, because it kind of put up some like gory stuff and kind of fantasy stuff that I was very confused about. So definitely the most ridiculous in terms of like I did not like it, did not make sense. So I think this one is it for me. So the second prompt that I have, it's called Hammer, and it is to talk about someone you know in the military. So how do I explain this without being too confusing? So I live in Portugal, and in Portugal the military is not the same as in the USA, because here in Portugal is not saying we don't like give credit to them and are thankful for the military to protect our country. We are, but it doesn't have such an impact. Being in the military here in Portugal is not like something big, so it's very rare to find like a military family. It's very rare to have someone or a friend or family you know really close to be in the military. So I don't have anyone to talk about, at least not a friend or family, because like the obligation to be in the military ended like very many years back, and nowadays when you turn 18, I think it's in the year that you do 19 years, you only have like a mandatory day. We called it the military day, something like that, that we spend one full day from like breakfast until almost dinner. I think it's from like 9 to 5 p.m. or something like that, and we basically in there get to know a little bit more about the army, about the Air Force, the Marines and all of that, also about the police, but it's only as a way to not make going to the military mandatory. I don't know how to explain it any better, but honestly the military is not a big deal here in Portugal. It's nothing like grand, nothing like, we don't have like, it's not very common to have someone in your family that is military. So that saying, I actually, as I said earlier, I don't have anyone to talk about that I personally know in the military, because there is no one in my family. So I will be talking about my idol, one my ultimate bias in K-pop. I know it's kind of a stretch, but he is in the military right now, so I will be talking about Suga or Min Yoongi from the BTS. He is my ultimate bias and he is in the military right now. So a little bit about him and why I like him so much is because his story really touches deep into my heart, and I really like all the effort that he put into himself and into his career to get where he is today. So that's why I really like him, and honestly, I don't think there's much more to say. I think he's a kind soul, at least he looks like one. He looks like someone nice, someone calm, and honestly, everything that has to do with me. So I hope someday I can meet him, but if not, that's okay. So I think that's it. I think I explained it the best that I could, so I think let's get into the next prompt. The third prompt, it's called Class A, and it is the most graphic book you have ever read. For this book, I want to show you and to present to you Shiver by Junji Ito, and this book I can show you one page or something, but this book is definitely something that I find quite graphic, quite gruesome, and it's not something very easy for anyone to read, because this has short stories by this author, and some of them are really graphic and lead with trypophobia and some phobias, so definitely one of them. I could have used another book, but I thought this one was the one that I had that fit the graphic bubble the best, because I could have gone with graphic in terms of spice, I could have gone with graphic in terms of gruesome in terms of bloodiness, but I decided that Shiver was the one that I had that definitely fitted this category the best, and the first one that I thought of. So it's a very gruesome book and very graphic. Showing you on one page, be careful, this is a trigger warning, so if you want to just jump a few seconds in front. So this is one of the pages of the book. The first prompt that I have, it's called Burpee, and it is the most challenging book by a BiPOC author that I have, and for that I will be talking about Bubble by R.F. Kuang, and this definitely is the book that's the most challenging to me, because there's a lot of context in it, there's a lot of heavy topics in it, especially because we do talk about colonization in this book, and also there's a lot of footnotes. So besides the context that the story gives, the author also gives you a lot of context inside of the context, if that makes sense. And honestly, it is a chunky book. It's 546 pages, and half of it is just context for you to understand what is going on in this world and the magic system that the author developed in it. But otherwise, I think this is a very good book. I did give it 5 stars, but it's challenging. It's not for everyone. Some people say that immersion reading is better for this book. I did read it all in my physical copy, but if I could, I would have definitely tried the immersion reading. So this is the most challenging book that I have by a BiPOC author. So the next prompt that I have to talk about is the 5th prompt, and it's called Pull Up, and it is the biggest book ever read. And the biggest book that I have read, it is Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare, and this book is big. It's almost 700 pages. I did wait very anxiously for this one, but despite being the biggest book that I have ever read, it's not the most challenging one, definitely. And by far, Cassandra Clare makes, even though her books are quite chunky, she makes beautiful writing, and she can make 700 pages go by very fast. So definitely this is the biggest book that I have ever read. So on the contrary of the last prompt, I have the 6th prompt, and it's called Log Roll, and it is the shortest book ever read, and that book is once again Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. This book is 222 pages. I think this one is definitely the shortest book that I have ever read, but also it was a book that dragged so much, so I could even say this is the longest book because those 222 pages were a sacrifice. So besides that, I forgot to say it earlier, but this is a trilogy, and I think this is the first trilogy that I will not be finishing because I have no interest in it. It's not a book that comes to my mind because of happy reasons and good reasons, so definitely I will not be finishing it. The 6th prompt, it's a funny prompt, and it's called Class 6, and it is a picture from your childhood. So, my mother and my parents liked to take a lot of pictures when I was younger, so I have a few, but for it to be easier, I am going to show you the one that I normally have on my bedside table, and it's this one when I was little. I mean, I think that I still have the same face features, but definitely like more adult features than just like kid. I think I was 1 or 2 years old in this picture, and it was maybe, well, here my parents liked to take like some photo sessions when I was younger, so this maybe is one of them that I think I did with my cousin, and this is one of my photos that came out of it. So yeah, this is a picture from my childhood. The 8th prompt, it's called Reveille. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is to summarize the first page of a random book, and I don't know which one I will summarize. Let's see. It's Night Circus. Although I have read it, I will just summarize the first page. So let me just read it very, very fast. So, the first page of the Night Circus basically talks about the circus and how it simply appears out of nowhere without any announcement, without people knowing that the circus is coming to town, and it also describes the tents, the whole setting of the circus, and it explains how this circus does not need like advertisement because people's word is enough for them to come visit the circus, because this is a circus that like everyone is very curious about because it simply appears out of nowhere. So this is the first page of Night Circus. Even though I have read it, I just simply choose a random book. Okay, so the 9th prompt, it's called Squats, and it is to do 20 squats in real time, and I will be doing that right now. The 10th prompt is to tag 3 new to you booktubers, check out a few videos and subscribe to them. I did tag 3 lovely ladies in, or at least I mentioned them in the first video that I did, but I have been their subscribers since then, so I will tag like 2 of the same ones because I can't find the last one in here in my subscriptions. So I will be tagging Brooklyn from Brooklyn Reads, Donna from Mom's Book Collection, and also I will be tagging a very new booktuber that I have been creating a little bit of a friendship with, and it is Laura from the book Hermit, and I hope these lovely ladies do the tag, even though the Bootcamp Readathon has already ended. I think it's a fun tag to do, so I tag them. So I don't have much more to say today. I have answered all the questions in the Bootcamp Book Tag, and I think this video will end up here. I hope you like it. This video honestly was a total mess from beginning to finish, and I hope after I finish this video it all goes well, because I am so tired of having to film it and it not being able to go through the editing process, because I have not yet been able to reach that phase even. So fingers crossed everything goes well with this version of it, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. I will really appreciate it, and maybe think of hitting the subscribe button to know a little bit more of my book adventures. And also there's maybe a plan of me to start doing some sprints, some reading sprints, so I hope you all are as enthusiastic as I am for it. So if they have already started, I hope you are liking them, and I hope I am able to be a nice host for them. So I think I'll see you guys in my next video, and until then I hope you keep having some wonderful days. Bye bye, I'll see you next time.